It's wash day. We finally got those braids out. Thank you, Lord. Let's do some mini twists. So to shampoo, condition, and deep condition, we're going to be using Nutra-Ox for normal hair, Mish, and Amika. Since I was coming out of braids after 7 weeks, that means my hair was exceptionally dirty. And so I decided to wash it in sections, 4 sections to be exact. I started with the Nutra-Ox. And since that is a clarifying shampoo, I went in with that twice. Then I went in with the Mish Cleanser, which is their step 1. It's a moisturizing shampoo for dry, dehydrated hair, so it adds all that moisture. But then, baby, I went in with that Amika. And if you know that intense hydration is everything. Then for conditioning, I went in with the Nutriox Fortifying Conditioner. This is like a hair thickening shampoo and conditioning treatment system. I let that sit while I went through and shampooed all the other sections, and then I rinsed it out and went in with the Amika Hydro Rush conditioner. And I let that sit while I washed my bits and tittles. Then I rinsed it all out, finished up in the shower, and then put in that deep conditioner by Mish, the strengthening protein conditioner. I deep conditioned in 5 sections, and you already know I used a recycled grocery bag as my conditioning cap. Sure did. And I left it on longer than you are supposed to. 30 minutes is more than enough, or your scalp will start itching. That protein does not play. Once that was all rinsed out, I went in with Mish 3-in-1 leave-in and the Quench Hydrating Buttercream. And this I applied in 6 sections, because the goal was to band 2 knot and leave those band 2 knots in until my hair was dry. And I noticed that I am always scrunching up my face, either to keep my glasses on my face, keep something from going in my eye, or just to see better. And I'm not cutting it out. But I digress. Gotta go in with that Carol's Daughter Goddess Strength Oil. Just on those parts, rubbing it in is more than enough. Time check, 7 p.m., process complete. I started taking the braids out at 1:30. I finished after about 2.5 hours. Then the process to wash and condition my hair in the shower only took about an hour. So I'm going to allow my hair to dry in these band 2 knots, so that way my hair will be stretched, no heat required. And as soon as it's dry, I'm going in with this scalp treatment, which you literally just spray on your scalp, part your hair, spray, and then massage it in. You can actually use this multiple times per week, and it's a densifying tonic. I ran out of my favorite braid gel, so I went and grabbed this African Pride Black Castor Miracle Braid Lock and Twist Gel, and I actually like it. I used it to part the sections, and I kept it concentrated on my roots only. When it's all done, you'll probably notice that all of my parts are different sizes. I was more focused on how much hair was in each part and not so much making sure that the parts were all the same size, because these are mini twists. On natural hair, no hair added. So I pre-parted my entire head, doing box braids at the root, probably about 7 to 9 strokes. And then I did the mini twist. That way my roots would be more structured, since this is not going to be a twist out, which should help the style last longer, help it to hold up during my workouts, and make it easier to cleanse my scalp on a weekly basis. My goal is to leave these in for 6 weeks. Let's see how that goes. Since the buttercream has to be added to damp hair, I pre-added it, but I am going to wet my hair and use the gel to foam. When I wet my hair, that kind of reactivated that quenched buttercream, and then when I added that foam, it just sealed the deal. So of course I am detangling as well as distributing that product all throughout. And I did it in small sections. So I split that bottom section into 2, and then I sprayed it down, applied the foam, and got right to twisting. I used my alligator clips on the ends so that my hair would remain stretched as it dried. It's going to shrink up, of course. That's normal, it's natural, and it's good. It's an indication that your hair is healthy. But nobody really wants their twists all shrunk up to their ears when their hair goes down to their bra strap. So here's that process in the front so that you can see better. I am spraying it down, applying the gel to foam mousse by Mish. detangling and distributing the product using that comb brush, moving that hair out of the way and twisting, clamping it off with the alligator clip to add weight, and repeat. And this is me twisting in normal speed. I go right up to where that braid ends and I split that hair into two, making sure that each leg is the same length. Not necessarily that they have the exact same amount of hair in each leg, but that they're the same length. So that way I don't have to borrow from the legs. So that when I take them out, I can literally just slide them apart without having to exert too much effort. No different than I talked about when I braid my hair, making sure that I can just pull those braids apart. I can do the same thing with my twists. Of course, when I get to the end, I roll the hair around the tip of my finger so that my ends are curled. And I put between 3 and 4 twists per alligator clip. Any more than that, and the hair will be too heavy for the clip, and the clip won't serve its purpose. Quick 360. I just had that one section left to do, but this was a great time for the 360. And we're finito. Last twist. Rubbing a little of that excess on those edges. The final look.